We covered really in-depth personal branding yesterday. Who here feels like you know exactly what you need to do on your Instagram to build your personal brand? In a really powerful way. Good. That took me years to figure out. All right. So please, follow that to a T and use it. I promise you, if you use it, you will get the results you want. All right. Now it's time to talk about attracting clients. All right. We're going to talk about attracting clients. So when it comes to attracting clients, we got to talk about first things first. Right? First things first. And the first thing that we have to do always is pick your niche. Right? Understand that no matter what business you are going into, IG agent or anything else, it's really, really crucial in marketing and in business that you pick your niche and you're very clear. Right? A niche this is the type of demographic, the businesses, the people, the consumers that I work with. It also means I don't work with these other people. Right? I am here to help these people. Now, why do we niche? Who can tell me? Why do we niche? Yeah.
To be a specialist.
To be a specialist. Why is that important?
Because they don't think this guy's all over the place. He thinks he can help them out.
Put it this way. You need brain surgery. Do you want the brain surgeon or the pediatrician to do your brain surgery?
The brain surgeon.
You are now a e-com store in fashion. Do you want the IG agent who works with restaurants or the IG agent who works with fashion stores in the e-com world? Which one do you want? The second one, right? Because you believe they must be better because they focus specifically on my type of business. That's why we niche. That's the whole point. And when you niche, you actually can get paid more. Who gets paid more, a brain surgeon or a pediatrician? Brain surgeon. Brain surgeons are the highest paid doctors in the world. I think their average is about $1 million a year. Right? Average pediatrician is going to make $160, $180, maybe $200 a year. 5 times more because they niche down. Of course, to niche, they had to go to more schooling. Right? You don't have to go to more schooling to niche down. You pick your niche. That's it. You carve out your own part of the marketplace. All right? So there's a lot of niches that you can choose. Right? And as EIEs, a lot of you probably already chosen the niches that you worked with email. And with an IG agent, you can stay in the same niche. Or you can, I want everyone to know, once you pick your niche, it's not like getting a government-issued ID with a name on it. Right? That's, anyone here ever tried to change their name legally? For fun? Have you done it?
Yeah.
You did it. Was it a lot of paperwork to do? The paperwork would scare off most people, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it scared me off. All right? There's a lot that goes into it. All right? Changing your name, that takes a lot of work. Changing your niche, not so much. Right? Here, I'll show you. Here's my niche. Fashion stores, e-com. You know what? I'm going to change. I'm going to work with the shoe niche on e-com. Shoes and sneakerheads and that kind of thing. I changed my niche. That's how fast. Right? It's like changing shirts. Just take one off and put on another. All right? I know people who, they are a marketing agency for doctors. Right? And not like pediatricians, but like plastic surgeons, medical spas, chiropractors, that kind of thing. Right? But they're also a marketing agency for restaurants. And they're also a marketing agency for gyms. Right? And saunas places like Perspire and things like that. Right? But to the sauna and gym places, they only think that they're a marketing agency for sauna and gym places. And to the doctors, they only think they're a marketing agency for chiropractic. The plastic surgeons don't know that they also work with gyms. Because on their website, it just says they're for plastic surgeons. And then they have a second website for gyms and health stuff. Does that make sense? There's no reason you can't do the same. Think about Gary Vaynerchuk on a high level, right? Gary Vaynerchuk runs a marketing agency. That's what he does, right? VaynerMedia, it's called. Does he have one called Vayner Sports? Yes. What is that for?
Sports agents.
Is it sports agents? It's for branding for athletes, right? Helping athletes build their personal brand. Do you think the people working on Vayner Sports are somehow different than the people working on Pepsi's marketing? It's the same people in the same office. It's just publicly, nope, we're Vayner Sports. We're all about athletes. And nope, we're VaynerMedia. We're all about working with big brands. It's the same systems and the same people on the inside. Just front-facing, they've niched out in a lot of different ways to better attract people from each market. Does that make sense? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Any light bulbs just go off for anyone? Raise your hand if a light bulb just went off for you. Good. Who here was like, nope, if I pick my niche, I can never have another website, can never work with anyone else? Not true. All right, we can be very fluid with this stuff, right? We can be very, very fluid with this stuff. So that's the first thing, is picking your niche. The other reason you want to pick your niche is that, think about it like this. Let's say that your niche is e-com stores, right? And you'll hear me talking a lot about e-com because e-com gets a lot of their traffic from Instagram. It's a really kind of good fit, right? It's a really, really good fit. And how many e-com stores are there now, like on Shopify? It's insane. Who here has ever been on a webinar for, like, start your own Shopify business? Right? So they're selling a ton of those courses, right? What does that mean? There's a ton of people starting Shopify stores, right? So it's a good thing. The more courses they sell, more people actually successfully start a Shopify business, means the more opportunity for you. That make sense? Yeah, it's good, right? And from my perspective, I see the trend going as lots of fucking people doing e-com. Like, I see more people doing e-com than anything else. I don't see that many succeeding, but I see more people doing it than anything else. So when I see that, I'm like, okay, good, right? That doesn't mean I should do that. If everyone's doing it, I probably don't want to do it. I want to zig when everyone zags. But I'll let them do it, and then I'll wait for the ones who succeed, and then those are the ones I'll do work with. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So let's say that I was e-com, right? I do Instagram for e-com. Well, when I'm out at a seminar or at an event or at a marketing meetup group or anything like that, everyone I meet there, when I introduce myself and I use my 3P statement, what might my 3P statement be? Hi, I'm Jasoncapital. I help, I'm trying to think of a shitty one off the top. I help Shopify stores. I help Shopify stores generate low-cost customers. There we go. I like that one, right? I help Shopify stores generate low-cost customers. Now, the person I'm talking to may not work in Shopify or e-com, and that's fine. But where have they just filed me in their brain? Shopify stores, right? Now, what happens when 2 weeks later they're at some other marketing event and they meet someone who works in Shopify and mentions that they're trying to grow their business? Who do they think of? Me. And if I say that to everyone that I meet, anytime they meet anyone who does Shopify, who do they think of? Because I've niched myself. What if I just said, hi, I'm Jason. Yeah, I work with online businesses. I don't have a niche anymore. Right? We niche because it actually generates referrals for us. I get so many referrals. I still do, but I used to get many referrals when I was in dating because I was very specific about who I helped. So it was like a lot of like women in their 40s who were like, you got to help my son. Right? He's like 18 and he's a loser. Like, she wouldn't say that, but he's very shy would be like the words. Right? Like, you got to get him out of his shell, that kind of stuff. And they would send him all to my seminars and that kind of thing because I was very niched. Right? So this is another big reason why we choose our niche, and then we get clear in our 3P statement. So every time we meet anyone, even if it's not at a marketing meetup, even if it's at a restaurant and you're talking to the server or the manager of the restaurant, like, ask them how their day's going, how long have they worked at the company, just so they can fucking ask you, what do you do? And then you can drop your 3P statement in there. Just plant that niche seed in everyone's brain. And I'm telling you, it will come back to you. All right, so that's another big reason why we niche. Everyone pretty clear on niche? Any questions about like what is your niche going to be? Yeah.
So along these points, would you have separate IG accounts for each of those? Do you have multiple?
Totally. Yeah, I would. That's.
You don't want to cross.
Right, but exactly. But what you want to do, like, let's say that this is like you, and you have one vertical and two verticals, and there's three verticals you're working with, right? What you want to do is you want to dominate one first. Stick to one, scale it to a point that you're happy with, like work to income, that kind of thing, and then create the second. Don't try to create all three at once, right? Don't chase all the rabbits, right? Catch one, catch two, catch three. Cool. Alan.
So last night we were talking about closing and stuff, right? And I was getting very frustrated because part of it is that my niche has changed a bunch of times since I've been on this EIE thing, and I don't know. I'm learning more about closing, but I'm power speaking again. And really, what I'm thinking more is like I kind of get farther by talking about my mission and my story and all that than that's my feeling about it, than trying to do this closing stuff. Frankly, with all due respect to all the marketing experts in the room and the salespeople, I don't really care about that stuff. I kind of like hate money in a way, not because I hate money, but I see a lot of people get really wrapped up or chase the wrong things. And you know, like my story, I had this car accident and all that. So the things in life, like what was I grateful for? I'm grateful that I could walk. My great-grandpa was in a mining accident, his back got broken. What I'm trying to figure out, I switch niche. Am I trying to market to the people who are going to book me as a speaker? Because I tried to book, what I was trying to do yesterday was close somebody to run their Instagram as that was their recording studio so I could get better with my Instagram. I don't need help with my Instagram. I'm very creative. Creativity is very easy for me.
So what's the question?
What niche am I? I'm a musician.
Here's the thing, dude. You have to decide.
Yeah.
Like, shit or get off the pot. What are we doing here? We can't do 3 or 4 things all at the same time. Like, I really, really would love to play in the NBA. All right? But I'm busy. All right? I can't do it. Also, genetically, I'm not made for it, right? I can't do that. I would really, really like, you know what I would like to do a lot sometimes, like all day, is just spend all day making one amazing video. If I could just spend 8 hours straight just working on one kick-ass video and like really making it cinematic and awesome, I would love to do that. I can't do that. Right? I got other things to do. I got other goals I have to hit. I want to do it. It's just lower on the priority list. And so it's not like, it's like the Warren Buffett thing. It's not like it gets some attention. It gets none attention until I hit the top ones. Does that make sense? Like you need to pick and then you need to like, so I'm going to do really, really, really fast story. All right. Because just to prove the point. So a few years ago, Warren Buffett's pilot who flies his private plane is there, and Warren hops on the plane. Warren goes, Mike, you're still here. He goes, yeah, I'm flying your plane. He goes, you worked with me for 3 years. Why are you still here? Shouldn't you have like made enough money to retire by now? Mike goes, well, I like flying and stuff. He goes, yeah, but you don't want to do that forever. Don't there are other things you want to do? He goes, yeah, you're right. He goes, all right. So Warren goes, here's what I want you to do, Mike. I want you to make a list of your top 10 goals. All right, and when I see you next, give me the list. Great. They see each other again, comes back with top 10 goals. Warren looks him down. He goes, this looks good. He goes, now I want you to go back and circle the top 3. Circle the top 3. Go in the cockpit. Let me know when you're done. So he goes in the cockpit, circles the top 3, comes back out, shows it to Warren. Warren goes, good. He goes, now what are you going to do about these other 7 on this list? When are you going to have time for those? And Mike goes, well, I'll focus on the top 3 most of the time. And when I get some free time, that's when I'll dedicate time to my other 7 goals. Cool? And Warren goes, wrong. He goes, no. You only focus on your top 3. Those other 7, they don't exist. You don't look at them. You don't think about them. You don't talk about them. You only focus on the top 3. And only when you achieve those top 3 do you even reconsider those other 7 on your list. Do you understand? He goes, yes, sir, Warren Buffett, I understand. Right? So what he's saying is singularity of focus. We have to pick 1 or 2 or 3, and that's all that you can do. All right, we are capable of anything, but not everything. Does that make sense? Big difference. Okay? So, any other questions about niche? Yeah.
I think for his question about creating separate accounts of yourself, right?
For your brand.
Right. So, like, say I'm going to create an account, an Instagram account of myself for restaurants that I do. I work with restaurants in a separate account, and I work with realtors in a separate account.
Exactly, but you're only going to do one at a time.
Right. Gotcha.
Right, only one at a time. You're going to build one up. When it's good, then you go to the next. That kind of thing. If you hit a point for some reason where your main account, the one that you start with, actually like gets really big, I mean like maybe more than like 50,000 followers, like somehow it explodes in some way, you figure something out, then I wouldn't maybe go create a second and third account. I would take advantage of the large follower count on that one and just work with that. Right? Because maybe more niches isn't what's necessary. Maybe more products selling to that same vertical, more expensive products also is probably going to be a better bet. Cool? Okay. Cool. Any other niche questions? Good. All right. So, yeah, niche, really, really important. So, when it comes to attracting clients, what's going to happen over the next 45 minutes or so is just going to be a barrage. What is it going to be?
A barrage.
With the British accent?
Barrage.
A barrage. Yeah, a barrage of it's quite popular. Ways to get clients. All right, just pure strategies. Say this, do this, say this, start a dialogue kind of thing. Okay? Understand, I'm just going to give you kind of the high level part of this is the first thing we need to do is we need to attract the client. right? And that's the ways I'm going to give you right now. All these different ways to engage them and start a conversation with them, because conversions happen in where? Conversations. Conversions happen in conversations. What we want are conversations with prospects. All right? So we need to attract them. Those are the ways we're going to talk about now. Once we attract them, it's not like these ways are going to close the clients for us. That is when the second part happens, when we close the clients. All right? So everything we're going to talk about here is how to attract them and start a conversation with them in a way where you're positioned in the right way as a credible potential client, or potential vendor of theirs. Then we're going to talk later today about how to actually close them in those conversations. Okay? All right. So number one, we call the cheese method. All right, we call it the cheese method. And we call it the cheese method because what is a cat's motivations in life? Excuse me, not a mouse. A mouse has two motivations in life, right? Avoid cats, get cheese. If you're a mouse, what do you care about in life? No fucking cats, let me get some cheese. All right, that's your motivations. Now, if that mouse is on one side of a door and it senses, hey, there might be cheese on the other side of this door. It smells like cheddar, some good shit. But it thinks there might be a cat on the other side too. Will it go for the cheese? Hell no. That mouse stays away. Right? So what is a bigger motivator to the mouse? Get cheese or avoid cat? Avoid cat. Right? This is why Dean Jackson's podcast is called More Cheese, Less Whiskers. How to give your prospects and your audience more cheese, less whiskers. Because your prospects, if they smell cheese, like if you are cheese to them, or what you're saying, you're doing, you're offering to them is cheese, they will move towards you. But if they sense that there's a cat hiding with the cheese, that you got some whiskers, they're not going to move towards you, meaning they're not going to respond to you. Who here has ever had people not respond to you? Yeah, whiskers. It's probably whiskers. All right, it was either 1585, like they just weren't in the zone of ever buying, or it was whiskers. They smelled they would buy, they're just not from you because you had whiskers in some way. Okay? So we want to make sure, with the cheese method, what we're doing is we're trying to push something out there in an opening message that is pure cheese to almost guarantee a response. All right, so the cheese method works like this. You email, let's say that your niche, you're working with gyms, right? You're going to do IG for gyms. Your either cold DM or your cold email. Ever know what a cold DM would be? DM someone you don't know, whether you're following them or not, you DM them. Or a cold email, cold email is just an email. We just call it cold because they don't know you. It's not warm yet, right? You don't know them, they don't know you. But it's a cold DM or a cold email, and let's say it's gyms. You might say something like this. Hey, do you guys offer group sessions? Now, if you're a gym owner and you get an email to your company account that says, all it says is, hey, do you guys offer group sessions? Will you respond to that email, yes or no?
Yes.
Is it all cheese? Yeah, why? Because you run a gym, and what's the number one thing you want to sell as a gym? Group sessions, right? You don't want those one-on-one sessions. You want the group sessions so you can get paid by 4 or 5 people all at the same time. It's leveraged, right? So you respond as a gym owner, and you go, yes, we do. We offer these types of group sessions and those types of group sessions. What are you interested in, or whatever? And then you respond back, and you say, great, so I'm working with one gym in Laguna Beach right now, and I'm looking for one more to work with in Newport Beach, where you guys are located. Just curious, could you handle 8 to 10 new group sessions this month? It's heavy cheese, right? Raise your hand if you're like, that's fucking deviously awesome. That's good, isn't it? And it works. Really, really well. It works. And then sometimes they won't respond back because they smelled whiskers, but a lot of them are hooked now, right? If the cheese is most important at the start. Once we got a little dialogue, a little momentum, a little investment going, then, it's like, yeah, fuck, this person totally tricked me, but maybe they didn't trick me. Maybe they didn't. Because it doesn't, hey, do you offer group sessions? Like, you could easily be like, I wasn't interested in a group session. I'm looking for one in Newport. Like, it makes sense, right? And then they hit you back and they go, yeah, we probably could fit 8 or 10 more. Like, how would it work? How does it work? Whatever. And then you hit them back and you go, awesome. Let's just, when you have 10 minutes for free, let's hop on a quick call and I can walk you through it. Or I can walk you through how I'm doing it with the gym in Laguna. Close on the phone. That's the whole process. Now, a couple things you can do that can make it better, right? They respond, how does it work or whatever, and you go, when do you have 10 minutes free? Let's hop on a quick call. What if you also attached to that email a case study of one place you already did it with and the results that they got out of it? Anytime you're trying to get clients on the phone or try and set up stuff, the more social proof you can throw at them before, the better. You should have case studies of clients that you've worked with or people that you've helped. And what's a case study? Who here thinks a case study is like some really hard thing to create? That would take a lot of time. It's a fucking Microsoft Word document detailing, like, literally it's who, what, where, when, why. Who the client was, what they wanted out of working with you, why they chose to work with you instead of the competitors, what happened. It's just a synopsis of what happened. And then if you throw in a couple screenshots on the Word doc of like, here's some of the samples of what I did for them, samples again, right? And then maybe even a testimonial from that client saying, here's what I love most about working with this person or what they did for my business. One page, 2 pages, export as a PDF. Now you have a case study. We do not want to overcomplicate this at all. All right? But I throw, even my team, we throw case studies at prospects all the time. Sometimes if we're DMing with someone and then they stop responding, we'll just email them a case study a day for 7 days. We have a whole follow-up sequence that I built for my closers in the chat where it's day 1 follow-up to, if they stop responding ever, there's a whole follow-up. And we create all the content, and some of it is a case study, some of it's testimonials, one of it's a personal video from me. And we just keep hammering them, and by day 3 or 4, we've pulled out 30 to 40% more money because of the follow-up. The follow-up is huge. And when I'm following up, that's my number 1 trigger I'm thinking about is social proof. Case studies, testimonials, things like that. Questions about the cheese method? Yes?
So if you would do this for e-com stores, what would the wording look like?
This is why you how do you get what you want?
You give somebody else what they want.
Right, and to give someone else what they want, what do you need to find out first?
What they need.
What they need and what they want, yeah. Right? And that's the secret to selling and marketing. That's the whole secret. Remember that story about Caleb?
Yes.
Right, when he had to write that sales letter? And those older guys buying those pills, he thought they were buying it he was totally off from why they were buying it. Right? They were buying it because they felt guilty and they wanted to feel physically attracted to their wife of 40 or 50 years. Right? He would have never found that out if he had just assumed. He had to find out what was it that they really wanted. So, e-com or anything else, you need to find out what does that person really want to sell most. Right? What do they want to sell most? Right? I could guess here, but I'd be doing what Caleb was doing. It's literally as simple as just talk to a few of them. Find out what it is that they want to sell most. You can ask them questions like, what 2 or 3 promotions have made you the most money in the last 12 months? Right? And let them tell you. And you go, is that your best promotion? Is that the number 1 thing you want to sell more of? Why don't you do that every day? Would you like to be able to do that every day? Find out what is the thing that they want to sell the most of. With restaurants, what do you think it is? This is why you got to talk to them. What do you think restaurants want more?
Repeat customers.
Repeat. Birthdays. Restaurants want more birthdays. Why would restaurants want birthdays? Brings a fucking party. Yeah. Birthdays, people usually bring family and friends. So instead of 4 people at a table, it could be 10 or 15 at a table. Is that a bigger check? Yes or no? Yeah. So what happens if you email a restaurant and you go, hey, do you guys do birthdays? It's just about finding what is that one thing. Yes. He loves it. My man did. But it only works. It's simple because we know what they want. I know what restaurants want. Right? I know what gyms want. You need to find out what does e-com want. And maybe per vertical, it's different. Yes?
How do you feel about DMing people video outreach stuff? Where you actually show them, you and ads manager, show them the cost.
Totally. It's a demonstration.
Yeah,
because here's the thing. When you're if you're doing ads, for instance, and you do a screen recording of what you've done for another client, they're not looking at your cost per click, your conversion rates, your relevance score. They're not looking at that stuff. All they're is, damn, this person's smart. That's why it's a demonstration. right? So even if you do a screen recording of like, let's say you have a Google Doc and it was a week's worth of content that you created for a client on Instagram. And it was day 1, day 2, day 3 in the picture and the caption. If you do a screen recording of that Google Doc and saying, here was our day 1 picture for them, and we were focusing on the trigger of interest and authority here, we created that by doing this, and here's what we did on day 2 and day 3, and it's a 2-minute video and you send it to them, is that a demonstration, yes or no? Yes. You're demonstrating you know what the hell you're talking about. You're building credibility for yourself. That stuff works great. I have a friend where he does a screen recording for a client or prospect, and he sends them an email and says, hey, I created this for you, cold, right? And it's a screenshot in the email of a video with the play button on it, but it's not a video. It's just a screenshot, right? And it's a cold outreach, so the person a lot of times emails back and goes, hey, I really wanted to watch the video. It didn't work. And now he gets them responding. And now you have a conversation with them. Does that make sense? Right? Because usually if you just send cold in a video like that, they may be happy or thank you for it, but like you're probably not going to get a response. Cold email open rates are usually, like, or response rates are like 2 to 4%. On those, you might get 8 or 10% replying. It's good, isn't it? Yeah. Yes.
What about wall line doing the Schmidt method, like the 6 little boxes or
So 6 boxes is closing. Right. We need to engage first. Right. We need to attract them first. Attract them, open up the doors, start a conversation. And then how do you close the conversation? 6 boxes, prescription, that kind of stuff. Okay? Any other questions about the cheese? Would anyone like cheddar? American? Swiss? Raise your hand if your favorite cheese is cheddar. 1. Wow. I feel you. What's your favorite cheese? Swiss. Raise your hand if it's Swiss. A couple of you. American? I don't think so. Wow. Dude, he loves his country. What's your favorite cheese? Mozzarella? Wow, mozzarella is popular. So put it this way, if I was selling cheese to all you guys, what would I say in my opening email? Yeah, do you eat mozzarella? All right, finding out what they want. Okay, so that's number 1, is the cheese method. What's it called? Cheese method. Yes. Number 2 is called the RIA method. All right, the RIA method. What does RIA stand for? Results in advance. All right, results in advance. Here's what we do with results in advance. We give the prospect 7 days of, here's exactly what you should post on Instagram for the next 7 days. A picture following the entire branding cycle and everything we mapped out yesterday, following all that. Picture, caption, here's the story you should post. Here's what you should say in the story. Here's what time you should post the story. Day 1, day 2, all the way through. Now, once you create one of these for a specific niche, do you need to create a new 7-day package for every other person you mail out to? No. Right? Once you get a good one, maybe you have to tweak it a little bit for each prospect you're talking to. But for the most part, once you create a 7-day package, it's the same for each person in your niche. Does that make sense? Right? So you're going to have the 7-day package. You're going to send it to them. All right. Remember we said how like the ultimate way to start building a relationship with someone is leading with the giving hand and coming with value first, and most importantly, not wanting anything in return. Raise your hand if that feels like I don't want to do it. I don't want to give shit away. A couple of you, yeah, right. You don't want to get, but it opens up so many doors. Here's the thing: if I cold email someone and they don't respond, have I gotten my foot in the door at all with them? Is there any chance of them ever working with me or them ever referring anyone to me? Yes or no? Probably not. I don't exist to them, right? But what if I send someone a really good email or a DM and it's got literally like a zip drive, 7 pictures, a full layout. Here's what you post. Here's when you post it. Here's why you post it. Here's the stories you post. It's detailed and it's really, really good. Even if they don't work with me, have I made an impression on them? Is it possible that they may end up referring someone else to me? Yeah, I can't tell you how many times people have come to me, even 2 weeks ago, right? I was speaking at an event in New York City called Breakthrough, and I did a meetup the night before the event. Was anyone there at that New York City meetup? He was there. Yeah, the guy outside. Awesome. Yeah, so there was like 30 people that showed up to the meetup, and I just started answering questions in the lobby of the hallway. Security tried to kick us out like twice, and I was like, we'll only be here 2 more minutes. We went for 2 hours. It was great. But one of the guys who showed up wanted to close for my company on the phone. right? And he was really, really hungry for it. And I told him, dude, I don't have room for any closers. Like, that's not going to happen, whatever. I'm sorry. And then 2 weeks later, I was at a mastermind in LA, and I'm talking to the guy next to me. Guess what he's looking for? Closers. And what do you think I did? I referred that guy to that guy, and now he's closing for that guy. All right? So do you see how going for it and making an impression actually gets you referrals later on? Like, you don't know the long-term value of giving value. The ROI, it is like compounding, and it just goes up and up and up over time. So you send someone great content, full 7-day package, maybe they don't hire you, but maybe 2 months later they decide they need it, and you're the first person that they think of because you made a real impression on them, not just some cold email, nothing. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, when you send the 7-day package, should you just send a 7-day package and nothing else? What did I just say? Yeah. Should you send a case study with it? Why not? Dan Kennedy, when he used to get local clients, here's what he did. This was like in the 80s, but it still actually works today. I don't recommend anyone do this because it's costly, but he got every client he reached out to, he got by doing this. All right? He called it the WOW package. And he would send it was a local business. He'd send them a big box of stuff. Who here, you open up every package you get? Anyone here ever not open up a package that Amazon or FedEx or UPS delivers to you? No, you open up every package, right? So he FedExes them a box, and they open it up, and in it is, the top thing is just like a handwritten letter, right? And it's not really handwritten, it was printed, but it looks handwritten. And it's just saying, like, it's complimentary, we know these people in common, and I'd love to, for him, he was doing it to do local marketing for these businesses, or he did it to get speaking gigs. He'd say, I know you put on this event, I think I'd be a great fit as one of your speakers also. So that'd be the opening letter, here's why I'm emailing you. Rest of the box, here's what's in it. Like every book he's ever written, like 4 or 5 of his books, they're all in there. And then a printout like this big with like 100 pages of just testimonials from customers about Dan Kennedy. Right? And then he put like a toy in there for their dog. Right? Just any, like a care package, anything and everything you can possibly think of. Any article he'd ever written, he'd print out and he'd put it in there. Anything anything nice anyone ever said about him, he'd put in there. And it's just all in there. Does he expect the person to read all this stuff in there? No. What kind of impression does it make, though? Wow. That's right. It makes you say, wow. And it works incredibly well. So I'm not saying spend all this money to print all this stuff and send all these boxes. If you have the capital for it and you really want the client, I'm telling you, this works. All right? Like, if someone did that to me, they would get on the phone with me. I guarantee it. I don't know what we do, but they'd get on the phone with me. So with this, you send them the 7-day package, but you also send all the case studies you have. Maybe even attach a video to it, a personalized video talking about them and flattering them or telling them why you're doing this. You don't want anything in return. You're just a big fan of their company and you want to see them do well. And if they happen to use it and love it, then by all means, you have some clients, but you do have some availability and you'd love to chat with them. That'd be it. And again, you could have the same one for every single person in your niche. Just tweak it a little bit, personalize a little bit. It's called results in advance because you are showing them the results that they could be getting before they even start working with you. Any questions about this method? Cool? Okay.